Every year I pick a theme, and that theme becomes a foundation for my personal practice as well as all of my teachers and dedicated yogis. Last year's theme was the Soma nectar of rejuvenation. Soma is the inner rejuvenative nectar that keeps us juicy, deeply self-satisfied, supple, youthful, soft, and it is the opposing factor or the complementary consort to fire, which is sort of more overemphasized and well known in modern yoga. So where fire is all about drive and strive and achievement and desire, the Soma nectar is cooling, rejuvenating, and satisfying. Much of the modern yoga that is popular today is a fire or Agni based yoga, and so the yoga that I teach, Shri, is a Soma form of yoga, more a discovery and unfoldment, a process of letting go, of turning within, of quieting, softening, and releasing deep tension so that we discover the self-satisfied self, or the Soma nectar. So this year's theme is the next unfoldment of the Soma teaching, and it is Dharma and Karma. Because what happens once we start practicing a Soma form of yoga and start to understand the Soma principle in yoga practice and in life is that you can learn how to gather and hold the inner Soma nectar through yogic practices, poses, and mantras, and so on. But then you still have to go out and interface with the rest of your life, which still may be stuck in depletion, stress, strain, striving, and force. So you still have to make some effort in life. And where this theme comes in is in yoga practices and teachings that help yogis to take the bliss of the Soma nectar into and through all of life, so that all of life becomes a nectar. So in my yoga resolution program, we are going to focus on three main things. One is the Ganesha principle. So we are going to do practices and look at teachings about what is the reason why Ganesha is seen as the resolver of obstacles, and how can we bring that resolving principle, resolving of obstacles, into our lives. There is a reason why he resolves obstacles, and understanding how and why helps bring that principle into life. Then we're going to dive into the Shri practice that I specialize in, so the spinal release yoga, or supreme release yoga, which means that we will be deeply but gently resolving tensions at the deepest core of the body. Those core muscles attached to the spine will be releasing the tailbone all the way up through the top of the spine, and that effect extends throughout the whole body and mind. But we're going to do a special emphasis on the release of the psoas muscle. The psoas muscle is the chronically tight, rigid, depleted muscle that tightens when you sit, which is much of the time, and tightens when you're under stress, duress, inner pressure, or fear and anxiety. So chronically tight for everyone. We're going to soften, lengthen, open the psoas muscle with passive and active techniques. So the psoas muscle we are releasing in order to resolve tension, stress, and a disconnection between the lower and upper part of the body, but also we're releasing the psoas to help with the integration of your inner yogic experience and the rest of your life. So part of the yoga resolution process is about living your yoga in every single moment, living a yogic life, not having separation between the inner unfoldment of your yoga practice and the rest of your life, work, and relationships. When we have that, we end up with things like spiritual bypass, or wanting to abandon your life or a problematic life, running back to your yoga practice to recover from your life, or having a distaste for your life. So there are many teachings that help with integration, but in terms of the physical patterning, the psoas release is one of the keys to integrating all of life as a yoga itself. And then we're going to also dive into teachings about karma and dharma from the doctrine of karma and rooted in the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. This is going to allow students who attend this program to even more so engage with every aspect of life from a yogic viewpoint, to have a direct understanding of action and the result of action, and a direct understanding of what am I responsible for in life, and when do I leave the results up to other factors? How do I navigate what I have control over and what I don't have control over? When to go with the flow and when to stand up and engage and take action. So this is something that's very confusing to all people, but it gets especially confusing and tricky to yogis who don't have a complete picture, a complete teaching about karma and dharma. And so we're going to dive into that. And I'll be teaching more about this throughout the year in my trainings as well. But it's launching with this immersion, which is open to everyone, Yoga Resolution in Portland, Oregon on February 10th. And if you want to come to Portland for 2 days, or join me in Portland for 2 days, on February 11th, I'm going to do a pedagogical training called Shri Fundamentals on all the nitty-gritty details of the fundamental poses and practices of Shri, or Supreme Release Yoga, or Spinal Release Yoga.